And Durant was on fire at that time. He was just saying, that's the guy
Remember the last 3 games against the Clippers, it went like 50, 40, 50.
He was
like
great,
that.
but it was ISO a lot of it. And that's easier to guard than the movement Steph, like, what Steph does is so unique. Like, why did Damian Lillard get taken out of the series by double teams? Because he passed out of double teams and stood there. Like most players today, James Harden, LeBron, I could name all these guys. Steph passed out of the double team and starts running.
Yep.
So that he is the guy that the other teams, nobody ignores Kevin Durant. I haven't really talked to anybody, for the most part, that says Steph is better than Durant. But more important to that team, the engine that makes them go, is Steph. And he proved it by winning it before KD even got there. So this would be their 4th ring. I think, I'm saying it's his team. And he would join the Kobe, Shaq Lakers, and Michael Jordan is the only guys outside of Bill Russell to three-peat. So that would be huge for him. Now, as far as the MVP, I've said, Skip, on this show, you know, I thought he should have definitely been the MVP in 2015.
I concur.
It's beyond me how he could not only not win it, but I don't believe he even got a vote. LeBron got more votes. I think it was Iguodala than LeBron as far as the Steph's numbers in that series: 26 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds a game, 40% shooting from 3. In the pivotal game 5, when the series was tied 2-2, he drops 37, hits 7 of 13 from 3. In game 6, he goes 25, 8, and 6. And Iguodala, who was really good, got the MVP for holding LeBron. LeBron averaged 36, 13, and 9.
That what he had?
Some people thought he should have been MVP. No, game.
Oh, you're doing just those games?
Game 5. No, the series. Game 5 with Iguodala on him. Yeah. LeBron goes 40, 14, and 11. Game 6, he goes 32, 18, and 9.
Okay, but they got wiped out in both those games.
Not wiped. Steph had 37 though. In game, how you wiping somebody out without the 37 points? So I just, nothing against Iguodala, but I thought Steph got robbed in that. But then, so for people, I think finals MVPs are overrated. Kareem, of his 6 titles, he had 2 finals MVPs. His last 2, at least, he was past his prime, if not the last 3. Tim Duncan, Tony Parker won 1. Larry Bird's first championship, Cornbread Maxwell. So I think they're over.
Number 2 even won 1. I don't know how.
No, to
your point.
Yeah, it's not to your point. You know,
he was good that year, but he was a role player that year. Real talk. He averaged 12 points. Now he was big in the finals, but that's serious. But my point for posterity's sake, for legacy, when you do look at the greats, you nitpick, and if he doesn't have any finals MVPs in 4 championships, then I think that's something people can hold against him. So I do think it will help him in that regard. But I look, in his 4 finals, he's averaged 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists.
I believe it'll be the cherry on the top, because you're talking about a guy that will have multiple regular season MVPs, multiple finals or victories, and a finals MVP. It's hard. It's going to be hard if he wins this one, wins the MVP, that you keep him out of the top 10. And everybody
all time.
People keep talking about Steph Curry is playing so bad in the finals, but let me tell you who Steph Curry has a higher scoring average in the finals than: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, and D. Wade.
Wow, that's impressive.
Steph Curry has a higher final scoring average. Now, a lot of people think Kareem could be considered the GOAT.
Right.
People think Kobe Bryant's a top 10, Larry Bird's a top 10. And Steph Curry averages more points in the finals than those 5 guys. Can I interest you in that, Skip, baby?
Well, I got a whole lot to.
Well, yeah, okay. But with that being said,
strong.
With that being said, Skip,
They shoot it every day. Like they're just shooting like crazy. They're getting up threes.
But Showtime was scoring a lot of points.
Yeah,
and Kobe obviously shooting.
Yeah. But the thing is that, look, if you look at his last 2 in 2017, he averaged 27, 8, and 9. KD averaged 35, 8, and 5, clearly. Last year, 27, 6, 7. KD was 29, 11, 7.5. You can get that. But even Kobe, the last 2 that Kobe and Shaq won together, Shaq was 36 and 12. Kobe was 27, 6, and 5. So you see, Skip, sometimes you can play well, but then the player on your team has such a historic run. What Kevin Durant was, and then everybody remembers, Skip, that Game 3 shot. Then he follows that up, KD, in the sweep with a triple-double. How do you overlook that even though Steph was still doing his work? So for me, yes, this is icing on the cake. This is the cherry on top of the sundae. It's still a great dessert, but now he went, Skip, they win this, and I believe he's going to have to be the Finals MVP if KD doesn't come back and play. It's going to be hard. I don't know how you keep Steph Curry out of the top 10.
And you even said the other day, before Skip started, would you put him ahead of Magic as the greatest point guard ever if they win this?
Might have to.
Might have to.
I think he's chasing. I wouldn't quite go that far yet.
So somebody across the table from me, I'm going to alert our brighter fans out there in the audience that somebody is trying to undercut the fact that Kevin Durant has become the best player on the planet. Somebody's trying to make a case for his teammate being better, being a top 10 player.
Who said that?
There's also a number 2 out there making the
he's
making the
a big
claim
case.
too.
Boy, he's had a lot of shaky fourth quarter, that guy. But here's the point. You both are omitting the key detail here in the timeline. Off his second straight MVP season, which was the first ever unanimous MVP season, it was extraordinary. He shot 45% from 3. He led the NBA in scoring and steals and PER. It's just impossibly great what he did that year. And he goes into those playoffs, right? And what happened in game
5, 6, 7.
5, 6, and 7 of that?
He didn't play well. He came up
He
small.
came up smaller than he is at 6'2" or 6'3", whichever he is. And again, just for posterity's sake, in those games, he averaged 37% from the field and 36% from the free throw line after he shot 45 during the regular season. And then we go
from
to
3.
Yeah,
from
from
3. You
3,
said
yes.
from free
No,
throw line.
from
I was about to
3.
say
No,
free throw
from
line.
3. No, from
Okay.
3. And game 7, he shot 6 for 19 in his house. If it's his team, it's his house. 4 of 14 from 3, and then we get to that fateful fourth quarter where it's a nip-tuck game throughout the fourth quarter, and he goes 1 of 6 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3, and even Shannon admits he just threw the literal trophy out of bounds behind his back into the ninth row, right?
Fair.
Okay, so it was after that game that Steph led the charge, the Hampton 5, to Long Island in early July to recruit Kevin Durant, right?
You don't think Draymond led it?
Okay, well, that's what you've talked about. But again, Steph was the front man. When they got there, he was the one most outspoken. We need Kevin Durant. Well, if you're going to publicly admit that in a way no other superstar would ever admit that, no Jordan, no Bird, no Magic, would ever say
KD
publicly.
would.
Huh?
KD
okay,
would.
Okay, well,
He
I'm
went
just
there.
saying, but I'm talking about the greats, right? Okay, KD was stuck with a guy that he thought would forever handicap his ability to win one championship. He just said, I can't win with him as my primary decision maker, Russell Westbrook. So he says, I'm going in my 10th year. I'm going to maximize my chances of winning rings. And it looks like he's on his way to maybe 3 straight rings, right?
Right.
Okay, so now, what did we see from Steph? He is publicly on the record as saying, we weren't good enough without him. Well, you're disqualifying your top 10 just by that admission alone. You just are.
I'll give you some of that. I wouldn't say disqualify, but I'll give you that. But that's why this is so important. If KD doesn't come back,
It's beautiful.
and if KD leaves,
Silver platter opportunity. This is it, right?
So
here,
this
right now.
this goes, you go full circle.
Okay.
Right?
I would Skip, I believe going to the Hamptons served 2 purposes. Not only do you get him because maybe they were thinking, man, this is going to be tough. He stays in OKC. They had us down 3-1. So we get him out of OKC. Well, we just lost to the Bron.
Yeah.
He can't beat Bron. I don't know, with Kyrie staying there, we're going to be able to beat Bron. If we can take him away from OKC, get him to us,
Okay.
now we overwhelmed.
Okay, and I'm going to say this one more time. If you look at Steph's regular season stats for career against his career playoff,
Right.
all of his playoff numbers are a little off. Not a lot off,
Yeah, just
but
a
they're a
little.
little down, little down. Every category is down, down, down. You can't find one that's up. So back to 2015, your contention, he should have won that MVP. I disagree with you. That series felt lost to me because of your man and your man too. LeBron had taken it over. It was the greatest stretch of his basketball career. He put that team on his broad shoulders and said, I'm going to carry you guys home with no Kevin Love, and Kyrie fractures his knee in the overtime of game 1. And they lost that game barely in overtime. Then they win game 2. Then they go to LeBron's house and win game 3. They're playing at LeBron. Game 4, they're in big trouble. They're down 2-1. I thought LeBron was going to pull this one off. And the move of the year that year was made by young coach Steve Kerr, who said, I'm putting Iguodala, you made the case, he saw late in game 3.
He stumbled into it.
He saw, oh, wait a second, maybe Iggy does bother LeBron a little bit. So he bothered him a lot in game 4. And that was the pivotal game to me because they got back in charge of the series because he held LeBron to 7 of 22 that day. And it was way below what, remember,
he was shooting a low percentage that whole series.
Okay, but he
was shooting a lot more than
shooting a lot of shots.
Yeah, he was volume shooting.
Like 22 was low.
Because he was like 38, one shot. Yeah, he went to like 38, almost 40 shots.
He did do a good job.